For most of early human history, time wasn't going anywhere. Ancient civilizations largely viewed life as a repeating circle of seasons or random accidents. That changed sometime between the 20th and 15th centuries BC. Nomadic tribes began descending from the steppes of Central Asia, settling into the rugged, mountainous terrain of the Iranian plateau. These people belonged to the Indo-European nation family, speaking a language with roots that still exist in English, Greek, and Spanish today. They called themselves Aryans, meaning noble, and named their new home Iran. Beyond their chariots and bows, these settlers brought a philosophical concept that offered a new way to understand existence. They introduced a worldview that would eventually replace the old cyclic view of time for much of the world. In these mountains, a religion called Zoroastrianism emerged. It taught that the universe is an uncompromising war between Ahura Mazda, god of truth, and Angra Mainyu, a spirit of absolute darkness. This binary choice between good and evil destroyed the old idea of repeating cycles. If history was a war, it required a specific starting point. Time became a single straight line, beginning at the moment of creation. This line also required an ending. Zoroastrianism proposed that the world is moving toward a final battle, a purification by fire, and an inevitable final judgment. When the Persian king Cyrus the Great conquered Babylon in the 6th century BC, he freed the Jewish captives. During the following 2 centuries of Persian rule, Jewish thinkers integrated this concept of linear time into their own theology. Because this framework later anchored the teachings of Christianity and Islam, the Iranian plateau provided the chronological spine that the Western world still uses to visualize the future today. Fast forward to the 1950s, and the empire of the mind had been replaced by the empire of oil. Iran's most valuable resource was now managed by a single foreign interest, the British-owned Anglo-Iranian oil company. In 1951, Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh challenged this arrangement. He nationalized the oil industry, declaring that the wealth generated from Iranian land belonged to the people of Iran. Britain responded with economic sanctions and a global boycott, aiming to bankrupt the Iranian government and force Mossadegh to surrender. When the economic pressure failed to break Mossadegh's resolve, the British secretly asked the United States and the CIA to intervene directly. In 1953, the CIA and British intelligence launched Operation Ajax, a joint covert mission to remove the prime minister. Through a network of local assets, agents distributed bribes to military officers and political figures to turn the state against him. The CIA then orchestrated violent chaos in the streets, creating the pretext necessary to overthrow the democratically elected Mossadegh. With Mossadegh gone, the young Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, was restored to the throne and granted absolute power over the country. By securing oil access through a coup, the West exchanged long-term stability for an artificial autocracy. This intervention created a pressure cooker that would eventually lead to a massive domestic explosion. The Shah maintained control through massive shipments of American military aid and Savak, a secret police force that became infamous for silencing dissent. He pushed a rapid modernization program that transformed cities, but displaced traditional communities and created a deep wealth gap between the royal elite and the rural poor. In 1971, the Shah spent millions on a spectacular celebration at the ruins of Persepolis to mark 2,500 years of the Persian monarchy. This display of luxury in the face of widespread poverty proved to many that the regime was entirely disconnected from the needs and values of its citizens. From exile, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini used smuggled cassette tapes to call for the Shah's removal, labeling the monarch a puppet of the United States. Khomeini presented the revolution as a cosmic battle between the righteous poor and the absolute evil of the Western-backed regime, reviving the same ancient philosophical blueprint born on the plateau thousands of years prior. By 1978, millions were protesting. The Shah fled the country in 1979. The monarchy collapsed, and the Islamic Republic was established. The 1953 coup secured a resource, but it also triggered a movement built on that ancient promise of final justice. By ignoring the plateau's history, foreign powers helped create a conflict that still dictates the terms of global politics today.